All right, Improvisation Center back again. I'm going to actually get started with a few little odds and ends on this car. As I've shown in my previous video, I removed a bunch of body panels, well, body-ish, bumper and tailgate and stuff like that. They were in the bed, covered in pine needles and stuff. Got the bed cleaned out. Now, turning attention to the engine bay, which I stated before, had to clean rat turds out of the intake, so the engine is more or less cleaned up. And also all this emissions control garbage right here is going to have to come off. The charcoal canister, whatever the hell this thing is, this little device right here, all that stuff's got to go because we're not using any of that stuff. It's a simple 4-barrel. It's going to stay a simple 4-barrel. No EGR, none of that garbage. So I'll go ahead and start pulling a lot of that stuff off, trying to tidy up the engine bay so it'll be a little bit more cleaner when we do start assembling all the other stuff, such as a radiator and hoses and accessories and all that other stuff. So go ahead and get started on that, and we'll be right back. All right, got the condenser out along with these other components that I pointed out over here earlier, the charcoal canister, some vacuum lines, and the one device that I was looking at. It actually turns out to be a primitive cruise control module. Well, not really so much a module. It has the speedometer cable going to it at this point, and then this one goes out to the transmission, and then I guess it gets some kind of feedback or something where it operates the vacuum to work a vacuum diaphragm that would have been on the carburetor in order to control the carburetor's throttle position to maintain a certain speed. Kind of interesting, and if I had any clue of how to rehook that up, I might reuse it, but who knows. And I'm sure right now there's some aftermarket stuff out there for anybody that might want to put a cruise control setup on a carbureted engine, but that is so far down the road that we're not even going to worry about it right now. We're just going to continue getting things cleaned up on this car here. Probably have to pull this hood off so I could get all this other trash out right here and start looking at these wires to see what might need to come out. More than likely, all of it's going to come out. So I'm going to continue on with the work. Okay, at this point right here, we got this main plug for the wire harness in the engine bay. You can see it's actually held on by one bolt, an integrated bolt actually, that allows you to pull the thing free. There's a little socket on there that routes the wires inside. You'll have the same color wires on both sides to feed to whatever switches inside and to their respective loads. Starting off, this cable right here is going over to the wiper motor. You can also see it's been chewed on a little bit, all the more reason why a lot of this wire is going to need to go. But we're going to have to save that plug and some of its wire, so when we rewire things, we'll have the plug going right into the wiper motor. This cable right here is routed over to the headlights and side marker lights. You also have a branch off right here taking you over to the other side for those lights. We'll have to save some of that. More than likely, I'm probably going to save a good chunk of this whole loom right here. I'll have to pull this covering off and see how this wire looks all the way through. And if it looks pretty clean, I'm probably going to save the majority of this wire and just add on to it with some similar colored wire out of our stash to run it into the car. Now, continuing on down the line, this cable right here, this is going over to this dead batch of crap right here with these thick wires on here, which obviously some of this is going to be for alternator, starter, distributor, that kind of crap. Mostly engine control stuff. So, oh, and then this cable right here that's going separately into the firewall right here. Move that out of the way. That right there is for that cruise control module that I pointed out in the last video. Now over here, this other batch of wires going into the firewall separately is for the HVAC box. which you can see you got a couple plugs, one for the blower motor on the other side, one going over here for whatever little hardware inside there for the AC is being used, the speed control, which is nothing but a little resistor box. We're gonna have to save a lot of that stuff just as well, so we can rewire the HVAC system and have that operating properly. I'll probably do a little research, find some schematics and everything, and make sure that I'm properly wiring all this trash up so it'll work right. But that's our main thing right now, is just kind of checking out all the wiring. Like I say, I'll look at some of this other wiring in these looms, these little covers and tape and all that stuff, to see how good they are, to determine how much wire I'm actually going to save before I go ahead and remove all the stuff. There's also a few little vacuum hoses and all that are connected to some of these devices, as this being some first gen stuff, a lot of this stuff is vacuum controlled versus electronically controlled. So a lot of that'll have to come out too. And when everything is hooked back up, we'll just have to use some hardware from our stash as far as the little T's and other fittings for vacuum lines, as well as fresh vacuum line, of course, because most of the stuff is dry rotted. So go ahead and just continue with the removing of stuff. Okay, we got the wiring harness more or less stripped out, gutted out, all that. You no longer see that plug there. This little bundle of wires right here is for the wiper motor, as you can see. This little wire loom, as I showed before, is for the headlight assembly. That other pile of big wires is gone because, well, it really didn't have any usable plugs or anything. So, yep, it's gone. Over here by the HVAC box, you could also see that wire bundle that goes through there had been cut and the rest of it pushed in there, because I'm going to have to pull the dash in order to get all that out. So that'll be a later episode. But over there, all the HVAC wiring, that little square box right there, I think is actually a relay for the blower motor. And the resistor bundle is that little number right there that's bolted on top of the HVAC box. Has little coils inside there to catch air to help keep them cool. And all the others, a little thermostat on the other side too for the HVAC system as well. Now whether that gets reused or not, I don't know. I just have to look at how the layout is on the controls and everything. More than likely, if I reuse all this old HVAC stuff, I'm probably going to simplify its operation and omit a lot of stuff. But again, that's for a later episode. Right now I was just focused on removing a lot of junk from out of here so we can prepare for rewiring and other work. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on with some more work. Really, that's probably going to end up being body work now, putting the panels and stuff back on. So yeah, it's looking kind of dreary outside. About time to go inside anyway. But the next episode will be starting to put that stuff on and getting this stuff all straightened out. So the next time you see this thing, it'll look like a more complete car. So until the next time, I am signing off.